Hey guys, welcome to another live stream, and this is an impromptu live stream. I was just procrastinating doing the next video because it takes next video. I'm just researching the heck out of trying to figure it out, but I kind of figure out a lot of things about why people are asking me the same questions over and over again, even though I've done beginner videos. And I ask them, have you already watched the beginner videos? And they're like, yeah. I go, not just watch that. And they're like, yeah, we watched that. And I'm like, then why aren't you getting it? And, well, I kind of figured it out. It's just that there's just that one video I should have done the very first time before I did any other video, which basically is what I call, quote unquote, the secret to planet tanks for the beginners. And that's the video that's hopefully going to come out tomorrow, because I'm still trying to figure it out, and I'm trying to figure out how to explain that, because a lot of people don't know exactly what it is that begins the whole thing, that makes you understand and helps you understand the whole thing. But anyways, thank you for joining me on this impromptu stream. I just want to, just to talk to you guys. Yesterday we had a live stream with JH Aquatics, which was fun. It's great. But when I have a host on, it's mainly all about the host and trying some new stuff. And I just, there's not enough room for questions. Sometimes I like to do a follow-up, and plus it helps me, again, procrastinate doing the damn video, because it's a lot of research, and I've been researching it since Monday. So I just kind of figure out how it goes. But anyways, thanks for joining me. There's already 11 people watching on an impromptu live stream. That is so awesome. I love you guys. And shout out to Susan, Michael Allen, Life with Fish. Hi, Clara. Brittany, Bold and Dangerous. How you doing, Dougie? And Justin Shepard, all saying hello in the live chat. Thank you for joining me. So anyways, open discussion. Anything that you want to discuss about, let me know also. If you like the trivia from last night, if you like doing that, because I want to make that a regular part of the live streams. And I think it's kind of a fun way. I just got to figure out how to score it, because right now I've been just keeping track from last night from this sheet right here. And also I have to figure out how to deliver the questions better. And I kind of figured that out. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually post the question to chat, and then let you guys answer it, and then close it off when I see it come in on the screen itself, because there's that weird delay. If you guys done the live chat, there's this weird delay, about like 5 seconds, sometimes 10 seconds, sometimes a really, really long delay, and I don't know what's up with that. But yeah. But that's the way to beat it. That's the way I figured out how to get around that. But anyways, let's see. Hi, Clara, Life with Fish. I'm doing good, guys. Just hang in there. Hey, Mark Osborne. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, like I said, procrastinating. Just a lot of research. I needed rest from research. I was supposed to help Jenny Lee with her live stream today, but I don't know if she's doing one or not. She's like, oh, I'll let you know when I'm going to do it today. I'm like, okay. But no word from her yet. So I don't know if it's later, like in the afternoon, or later in the evening, or what have you. But yeah, I got to get this thing done, because tomorrow I have a wedding to go to. And oh, I hate weddings. It's not that I hate my friends that are getting married. I just, just another thing that I have to put on my list of to do of, tons of other things. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, the whole thing I'm researching is basically, that's that weird question. If you guys are in the Facebook, for the Waterbox Facebook group, why I posed that question, because I had to figure out exactly what is it that you guys don't know yet about that whole thing, about the start, and you already know what the video is probably going to be about if you're in my live, if you're in that group, the Facebook group, and read that question, because anything learning something is understanding the very basic, the very, very beginning, going all the way back, and understand the beginning of that. And I couldn't figure out why a lot of people, I get the same questions over and over again, and what is it that I'm missing. And I think I kind of figured it out, and I just got to figure out how to do damn video and explain it correctly. And that's the whole thing about the videos too, is like, I don't want to throw the scientific mumbo jumbo at you guys where you guys can't understand it. Because that's what turns people off from understanding and learning about planet tanks, especially. Is when you start throwing chemistry and stuff at them, and people are going, what? And, a lot of people aren't about the chemistry. They want to just grow a nice planet tank. But to understand how to grow that, grow the nice plant tank, to do the aquascaping and stuff, you have to understand the basics of it all. And I haven't done a video about it, and people I've seen on YouTube haven't done it or have done it, but it's so lost in the mumble and jumble and the jingle and jangle that no one cares to watch the rest of the video and understand it. So yeah. Justin Shepard, has anyone put moss from the yard in a tank? You know what? I don't know. I've never tried doing that before. And I don't even know if it's aquatic. The moss in your yard is aquatic. It depends on what kind of moss it is. So, regardless, even if it's moss, if it can't be grown aquatic and you throw it in water, it's just going to die. So, delay mainly for gaming streamers so they can't cheat. Probably. I don't know how... Oh, I see what you meant. Yeah, but I meant live chat delay, not the actual game itself. But, whatever. Life with Fish, I got fun tips tablets for my fishing, going to do a video on them. Oh, cool. What's a fun tips tablet? Or do you have tips about using tablets? Maybe that's what you're saying. Michael, and you can hate them when they get married and you'll never see them again anyway. That's true. I don't know about this. My friend here, I barely see him now. He's I've known him for a while now. He used to do videos with me on the wargaming side, but he gets busy with life and stuff, and now he's working on at BuzzFeed, I think, for one of their sets. It's like a set designer or whatever. He does miniature painting, so he wanted to try to get me into, but I didn't want to do the painting and all the set designs anymore, because I'm more on the production side of stuff, so, and editing and stuff. Past the dirt road, what's up, bro? How you doing? Justin, mine looks like Java. Okay, just because it looks like Java moss doesn't mean it's Java moss. That's the thing, Justin. So, do some research on it. Find out what kind of moss it is, and obviously, if it could be grown, submersed, then go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. But if it's not a moss that can be grown submersed, it's just gonna die on you. So do some research. Grab some. See if you can find out what it's all about. See if it'll work, and go for it if it does. Kusamano, is that the one grown outside of the tank? In the damp environment, or is it all underneath, submersed underneath water? I don't remember which one Kusamano is. Baldwin did bog, maybe. Like I said, I don't know. I know he just said moss in his backyard. It could be anything, right? There's tons of different varieties of mosses out there. So, I mean, you could always just try sticking it in an aquarium and see if it grows. They stick to the glass of the aquarium so you can see your fish. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you. I didn't. Oh yeah, I remember that I see people do that. I just don't know what it is. You just stick a glob of it on your glass and fish eat out of it. It's kind of cool. It's like one of those toilet cleaners. You stick on the side of your toilet bowl and it just cleans. Don't ask me why that reminded me of that. Hey, Below the Surface, how are you doing? Below the Surface, I'm experimenting with like 5 types of land moss, and they're still alive after a week. Oh, cool. Well, let us know what what you figure out. That'd be very interesting to see. All right, Susan, man, have a nice weekend. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. We haven't talked in a while. Love you. Kusamano is a landscaping bonsai. Planting includes river or pond aspect. All right, I gotta look that up. You figured I would know, but I don't. I don't know them all. I'm more all about the submersive growth stuff, and doing it all underwater type of thing. The landscaping underwater, not anything. Okay. Anyways, grows underwater just slow. Okay. Then I think you're okay. I don't see why you couldn't use it. Just make sure you don't have pesticides in it, which I don't think it will. I don't know. I don't know what you do in your backyard. And if it grows in the water, go for it. I don't see there's anything wrong with it. Just make sure there's no pesticides and stuff if you would decide to put fish into the tank that you're putting it in. So, but like everything in this hobby, it's all about testing it out, trying it out. If all else fails. Sometimes you can't find answers. Sometimes people don't know, and you just gotta just jump in and just give it a try. I mean, that's one of the things I notice is sometimes I'm like, well, can I do this? And I go look and Google it, scour the groups and the forums and stuff, and no one seems to have the answer. So the best thing to do it is go and try it. And if it works or it doesn't work, you make a video about it, right? That's the cool thing about it. So because if you're thinking about doing it, most likely someone else is too. So it'd be cool to get that information out. And you never know, you might discover something really cool that's going to catch on, that everyone's going to love. Hey Caleb, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you and having you join us today. Oh, that's right, you come 15 years apart. That's right, I remember you mentioning that. That is very cool. Hey Flynn, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you today. Michael Allen, I'm trying to dry start with the ultrasonic mister to keep humidity near 100. Yeah, that'll work. Justin from HD with Plants and his friend Kevin, the guy, Brooklyn Aquascaper. They actually created a way to. Well, I think it's Kevin from Brooklyn Aquascaper. He created a way where you put a air hose into a bottle, and the bottle connects into the tank, and the hose just sits there in the tank. And what the water bottle does is you keep it warm, and then it bubbles, and it just moves the humidity through the tube into the tank, so that way you don't have to mist your tank every day, and that keeps the tank moist. So that same concept, ultrasonic mister, that's a really good idea. I gotta try that. That is very cool. Below the surface, a few YouTubers have already done land moss experience, but what the hell, it's free. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know which YouTuber's done the land moss experience. I don't really. Sometimes, moss isn't a huge interest of mine. It's great to be part of the aquascape, but moss is moss. It grows like moss. So once you play with moss, I don't know. I just don't find much interest in just moss itself. I like the different types of variety of moss. Like I prefer Physcidins over Java moss or anything. Christmas moss is really pretty too. I like the way they grow and stuff. So I would specifically pick a certain moss to do certain type of aquascapes. That's as far as I go. As far as trying to grow moss, seeing what makes them tick, how they can grow and stuff. Not a big interest of mine. Maybe later, I don't know. Justin says I can't find any info on it. That's why I asked. Okay, cool. No, it's always good to ask if you can't find any info. Never know. Someone might know. Flynn, those Liberty Mollies won't stop breeding. Well, welcome to the Live Bears, buddy. Hey, Keith. Nice to see you on board. Caleb, any tips for CO2 reactor? Look it up. There's actually a lot of YouTubers out there that teaches you how to do it yourself CO2 reactor. Most of it is pretty much kind of the same design. Take a PVC pipe, cap it on both ends, and put a fitting in it for either a 1/4-inch hose or 1/2-inch hose, so that the water from your filter goes up and through and up like that, so it pushes the water through. Since it's not pressurized, you don't need to worry about hardcore pressurized seals. So you create one tube and then another tube that goes in like this. That's where you inject the CO2, and you take about one or two, probably one bubble per second, more than enough. And you put bioballs into this tube, and then when you release the bubbles, the water pushes the bubbles through the bioballs, and it dissipates. It dissipates in the water, and by the time it gets to your tank, voila, CO2 enriched water going in your tank. So look it up for designs, but that's pretty much the basics of how you would build one. And since not pressurized movement, you don't have to worry about completely sealing up your CO2 reactor. Like really, really tight kind of thing. So yeah, just do a search on do-it-yourself CO2 reactor. I'll build one and make a video about it, but it's not gonna be for a while, because I haven't even reached that point yet. Because after I figure out how to do that stupid video for tomorrow, then I can jump on the more advanced lighting video, the CO2 video series, and then the fertilization video series. I've been sitting on those series because All right, when I do videos, I have to research them, and sometimes I have to put in order where I have to find the time that I'm able to do the research before I could do the video. Because some videos, you know, the more I know, the easier it is. I don't have to do that much research. But stuff that I'm not quite sure of, I have to research. I have to go and scour the net and figure it out and disseminate the information, because there's so much disinformation that you gotta kind of try to get through all that dissemination information to get the right information and then make a video about it. And then when it gets really technical, like a lighting video series, that's going to be tough. I've been sitting on that because of the technicality of lighting, and trying to figure out how to explain it. So a lot of it is about doing the research and trying to figure out how to convey it to you guys and make it really easy for you guys to understand without you guys losing interest. That is like one of the points in making these videos. Hey, Wet Sleeves, how you doing? Hey, D, how you doing? By the way, congrats on 1 year. Happy birthday on your live stream thingy. Did you do it, I think, earlier today, right? Or is it tomorrow? I forgot if you do it on Saturdays or Sundays, your live stream. Pastoral, yeah, I researched fistins after we talked the other day on the Facebook group. I'm going to do that route for mine. Yeah, fistins are really pretty when you grow them out really nice. And for some reason, they actually form the shape really nicely, especially on a rock or something. And you get that round rock look, and you do a moss, like a fisherman ball. It looks really cool. Michael Allen, put a female beta in your tank, you'll never see fry again. Yeah, that's a good point. Good tip, I guess. Yeah, Justin, do it. People do it all the time. I mean, it's not Uncharted, but I guess it's Uncharted in your area. But that's actually a fun thing to do. If you don't make videos, I think that's what you should make videos about. Hack it up Sunday long. Hey, it's back in my smoking days. I vape now only, but back in my smoking days, I smoke a lot. So it's still take a toll on you. I haven't smoked in 2 years, more than 2 years, and I'm still hacking up all that nasty stuff. So don't get into smoking, that's for sure. Kayla, I really like the instant mix max, but the tank that needs one is going to be behind a corner. It's powered by a power head. Oh, well, you could always hook it up to a power head. It's another power head, and push the water out from the tank through the reactor and back into the tank. It's a pain in the butt to set up though, but you still could do it. And the problem with the Insta Mix and Max reactor, which I have one, and I use it, is that you need a lot of flow. And I try to put it on the 20-gallon long with a about 210 GPH power head, because that was what was pumping my Sun filter, and it wasn't enough flow. I needed way more flow for that. So you'll need a lot of flow for the Insta Mix Max reactor. Make a video on combing through the nonsense. I could, but I don't want to put people on the spot. You know what I'm saying? I guess I could blur out names and stuff. But then if I do that, I hate. I was thinking how to do that, and if I did something like that, it would make me sound like a dick. Oops, sorry, I said it. But whatever, dick. So get with it. All right, it's okay. I just said one word. Okay. Also, when is Jenny supposed to be in the live stream? No, you didn't miss it. I don't know if she's gonna do one today. She's always busy. She's doing finals and schoolwork and stuff. That, from what I understand. So I don't know if she's going to make it. I haven't heard anything from it. She wanted me to help moderate it, but I haven't heard anything from her. Dee's, your chat's tomorrow. Okay, great. Guys, join Dee's to help her celebrate her 1 year on YouTube. Our live chat tomorrow on Sunday. Sunday morning, I know, because I realized that if I wanted to attend her streams, I had to wake up early on a Sunday. Decisions, right, guys? Sleep in or go or attend one of your favorite YouTubers' live chats. NYCJT62. Hey, when you do water changes, do you throw the water away or do you use it for houseplants? I personally dump the water because Well, I don't have any houseplants. But for you, if you have houseplants, use it for your houseplants. Recycle the water, and it's actually good for your houseplants. It's got nitrates in it. Nitrates make nitrates make plants grow. Most plants grow. So yeah, it's actually kind of fertilized water in a way. Yeah, especially if you already have a planted tank and you're switching out the water, it's already got nutrients in it. So why waste it? If you have houseplants, water it with that water. You smoke cigs to get off vape? It's supposed to be the other way around. You're supposed to vape to get off of cigs. Oh, really? The honeydew milk e-juice? It's alright. The fruity juices is alright. I'm more into the caramel, banana nut kind of thing. There's this awesome flavor that I got hooked on. I don't have it here now because I have to go get it because when I ran out, I went to another place that didn't have it. It is a peanut butter banana. Oh, it tastes so good. But not a vape channel. Sorry, guys. Michael Allen, seriously, I prep my female bettas for spawning and I put them in my guppy tank to help selectively breed my guppies. Oh, okay. That's a good way. You basically hired an assassin to kill little babies so that you could direct the gene pool of your fish. Okay, that works. Probably kind of psychedelic. You'll make a really good, world dictator, that's for sure. You finally quit in August after 25 years of smoking. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. You know what? I quit smoking when I had my heart attack. That's a horrible reason to quit smoking. But if you can quit smoking, do it now. It's better to do it now early and then not worry about it later. Well, you might have to worry about it. You never know. But it does mess up your system, smoking. So kids, don't smoke. Vape's not good for you either. Well, I don't know if it's entirely not good for you either. But here's the thing. It's better than smoking. But you're still putting stuff in your lungs. It's not always that good. Justin Show, I'm not a video maker person, I guess, is why I have a few people I watch like me. Thanks. You never know. You pick up a camera and you start there. You don't have to be good editor or anything. It helps, but if you really want to get into it, just try it. Pick up a phone camera. Pick up your phone. Shoot some stuff. See if it works. See if it sticks. And obviously, if it doesn't stick, that's okay. Oh, that's another one. Yeah, water your garden with the water too. That's a good idea. Josh Bostic, any tips for planting tanks with turtles? Like maybe using clay pots below substrate to help keep the turtles from digging them up? Yeah, pots are always good. A lot of people use pots to keep the aquarium clean. Second is to keep the fish from digging it up. Okay, so pots do work. That's how a lot of people get around. From getting the fish to dig up the plants, because some fish do that, is put them in pots, and depending on the fish, some they use big plants like Java swords, or big huge Java ferns, so that they don't eat it, right? But yeah, that's a good way. If Turtle Girl was in here, she would be able to answer that, because I'm not a turtle guy. I like turtles, I'm just not much into keeping them. Not since I was a little kid. Maybe I will though. That'd be interesting. But I'm not entirely sure how turtles react with plants. If they're a digger, then yeah, put them in clay pots. No worries, water bog is 10 a.m. here. Yeah, well, 10 a.m. is good. 10 a.m. there is 9 a.m. my time. So I barely made 9 a.m. today, waking up. I just need to sleep on my weekends. Yeah, a lot of people use the waters for plants outside, so I don't see why you can use them for your house plants. I have a question. If I'm on my mobile and I want to let you guys, let's say an hour before I go live, you know what, Clara? I was looking at that and trying to figure out how to schedule on the phone, and I haven't figured it out yet. But if I figure it out, I'll let you know. I'll shoot you a message. But I haven't figured that part out yet, because I was trying to find the thumbnail for JH Aquatic so I could download it. and then upload it to Facebook yesterday. Because since I was at work, I didn't have access to my thumbnail at home. So I was trying to do it that way, but couldn't do it. I couldn't find the stupid schedule. And I tried to go on, the browser on the phone and just try to go directly as, YouTube as a browser, but I couldn't find that either. So I have no clue how to do that. But if I figure it out, I'll let you know. Get Modus Akuma. It's a big caramel custard. I'll check that out. Yeah, Martin said, Nick, glad you never took them. Yeah, it might be cool at first, but honestly, getting stuck with it and being stuck with it for years is horrible. It's not worth it. Just to look cool. It's an Asian blood is smoking gamble. That's kind of true. If you ever go to Hong Kong or anything like that, you see the Asians, gamble, do the bingo and stuff. Smoke-filled rooms. Brittany, today's my first day not smoking after 15 years. I wanted to choose someone. Okay. This is what I suggest. This is how I did, and this is how a lot of my friends did it when I told them how to do it. Switch to vape. Okay, don't go like in the vape to vape. Go to vape to quit smoking. Okay? First of all, just get a cheap mod, get a nice tank, pick a juice you like. Okay? And then get really, well, I would say get low juice, like 3 milligrams. That's the lowest you can get in nicotine. And then start with that. Okay, and at least you get your nicotine in your system, and you'll slowly wean yourself from it. A lot of people start with a lot of nicotine, and then go down from there. I suggest just go low nicotine, and then go up from there until you stop feeling that wigginess, right? And then just vape. Vape at that level for a few weeks, and then go down. Vape again, go down. And then go down to the lowest you can get, 30 milligrams, right? And then when you feel more better, you feel much better vaping at that, go to 0 milligrams because you can, okay? And by that time, once you get really used to it, you realize that you're just vaping vape. There's no nicotine, right? You're pretty much off. Now all you have to do is get rid of the habit. And a lot of smoking that I noticed, especially with me, wasn't mainly the nicotine, because I've quit smoking many times for a few months, and then find that I realized that I need the habit to do something with my hands. That when I'm stressed out is, the habit of smoking and stuff. And that was the hardest thing, was to wean myself off of the habit of doing it rather than the nicotine. Because I think no matter what anyone tells you, it's not just the nicotine. Once you get off the nicotine, there's other ways to just, keep your energy level up, which is mainly go out and exercise, walk, right? And that will help. You realize that the walking will help you maintain that energy and even give you more energy than smoking ever did. Okay? And once you do that, you just got to wean yourself off the habit. So that's why I suggest is actually go to the vaping side. And yeah, it could get expensive if you do something like I do, but it doesn't have to be that expensive. Okay? Like anything in this world, it is a hobby for some, but some use it to get off of cigarettes, and I think that is the best way to do it. It's better than patches or anything. See, because the problem is, patches, you're just using the patch to wean you off of nicotine, not to wean you off the habit of actually doing smoke. Because after you smoke for years, like I have, sitting in front of a computer programming all day, and smoking, lighting a cigarette every time, I'm trying to think or something, that becomes a habit. And you realize that, oh no, now I got to think about how this works. And it's going to take you about 15 minutes to think. I just sit there and think about some kind of programming logic or something. That's already ingrained in my mind that I need a cigarette, right? Every time we eat, and this is for smokers, if you're not a smoker, you want to understand this. Every time we eat, the first intuition is to go out and have a smoke, because that's what we do. We eat, have sex, whatever. We kind of complement that with a smoke, right? We have to get ourselves off of that habit. And that is, I think, the harder battle than getting off of nicotine, right? Because when we say, oh, we need a smoke because I'm stressed, I bet you 100% of the time that 90% of that is because you want to smoke, not because you need the nicotine. Because there's other factors that you can replace nicotine with, simply by exercising will give you the same effect that nicotine gives you, right? Just more healthier, right? Because it produces that, I think, endorphins or whatever that makes you feel happy, or laughing or whatever, that kind of thing. That's what nicotine does for you. But that's easy because you can find a replacement. But finding replacements for the habit of actually smoking is the harder part. So do it with a vape, because at least when you say, "Oh, I gotta have a vape after eating or whatever," you can start weaning yourself off of that nicotine, and then you start picking the habit of vaping. And I find that vaping is probably easier to get off that habit than actually smoking. And I don't know why. Maybe because it's much newer, in a sense. But yeah, for a while there, I wasn't even doing both. And then I started vaping again, just because it's a habit, and it's better than smoking. It gives me something to do. Do you have an online fish store? I have online plant stores. I figure fish store. I haven't found one to order fish, really. And if I do, and I've been looking at like Live Aquaria, only because they have a facility here in California, and that's where they ship off all of the fishes. And there's one in San Diego. But see, the problem is when I look at the website, and if it's really outdated, I don't order from anyone's website that looks outdated. And it's easy for me to tell because I'm a programmer. I'm a web designer. So I'll know when you're like, oh, you haven't updated your website in 10 years. Why in the hell do I want to, order from you? How do I know that you're even in business? That's the thing. So, I know Live Aquaria is probably the best because they've been around for a while. I think Dr. Foster and Fish, I always ordered dry goods from them a long time ago before Amazon was popular. But I never ordered live fish. Do please, because a few people have missed my live. Yeah. I mean, the best other way is to mention in your other videos and keep a this is for Clara, Life of Fish. For your live stream, keep it always at the same time. And people will start understanding that. But then if you keep your schedule at the same time, Saturdays, 10 a.m. always. 10 a.m. Greenwich time, whatever time zone you're in. I don't know the time zone of where you're at. If you just keep that regular schedule, then people always know expect it. And then in your videos, you can always say, hey, remember our live stream is on Saturday at 10 a.m. or whatever, And that's one way to do it. But the other way they'll know is when you go live. They'll see that that video that says you're live right now. But yeah, I mean, I'll try to see if there's a way to schedule it. Your roommate says hi. Well, hello to your roommate. Is she saying hi to me? He or she saying hi to me? I don't know. Hey, JH, how you doing? Joseph in the house. I don't know if you can get enough of us. We just live streamed yesterday together. And he's back again. Below the server, the patch always helps, but nicotine will always haunt you. Best just not to think about it ever after you quit and help relapse after. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Again, I think most of it has to do with the habit, but people are using nicotine as the replacement of saying that. But if you ever feel you need to smoke when you quit, right? And this is going to be really hard for the first few months. All right, you're going to get the urge to smoke. All right, ignore it because it'll go away. All right, at first it'll go away. It'll be with you for a little bit, like half an hour maybe. If you make it past the half an hour, usually it'll go away, right? But it gets way easier as you go on. After 6 months, you might get those urges here and there, but it'll go away like in this instant. It'll just go away and like, oh, I don't need to smoke. Okay? But you could do it. You could do it. You just want to have to do it. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people just want to, they're like, oh, I got to quit smoking because they say it's bad for you. You know it's bad for you, but you're not going to be able to quit unless you really, really want to quit. Okay? You can't quit because he said so, she said so, or whatever. You have to quit for some kind of reason. And the easiest reason to quit is for yourself. Okay? It's harder if you have to quit for something else. Okay? But if you realize, you sit down and say, well, you know what? I just want to quit smoking. I want to feel better. I want to be able to exercise without, hacking out a lung or wheezing or anything like that. Then just do it. Okay? And do it for yourself. That's the easiest way to do it. And that's the easiest way you'll stick with it. And trust me, it does feel better. It does. You won't feel it at first, but after a few months, you'll feel good. Go out for walks. Help replace that with exercise, which means not going out and just jogging or working out extraneously or anything. Go out and walk. Breathe that air that you've been not breathing because you've been smoking. Okay, and it feels good, and you get a lot more energy. You do after a while. Okay, you just got to get through the hump, that first few months of hump. That way I use mints, lots and lots of mints. I don't know if that ever works for me. I don't like mints. Maybe that's why. Congo, yeah, my manager who smokes goes out for a smoke after eating. Yeah, it's just kind of a habit we develop. Michael out. I use nicotine to help myself down from choking the crap out of people. Yeah, I don't know. When I quit smoking, like every time I try to quit smoking, that I never got crabby. I never got irritated. Not in the sense that I wanted to choke people. I mean, I want to choke people all the time anyway, so I don't think it has anything to do with smoking. It has to do with, oh, what are you talking about? Let me choke you. Oh, what are you talking? You're so dumb. Ignorance. That's not logic. But I don't think it has anything to do with smoking. Cinnamon actually helps break the habit. Cinnamon, okay. Biggest part is changing routine. Yeah, changing routine. The whole thing about the habit and the routine. I seem to quit, but I go through a bunch of cinnamon candy, mints, and gum. Yeah, I can't do that. I like cinnamon, but I don't like just cinnamon candy. I don't like mints. Gum, I'm not much of a gum chewer. So that's why I think I would switch over vape, and that got me off of the nicotine. And then I just stopped vaping one day for a long time. For about a year. I picked up vaping again recently. Maybe because it's something to do. Oh, good, Joseph. I'm glad you had fun yesterday. I wasn't sure if it worked out. Because it's really hard to do live chat camera to camera without being face to face. Because it's hard. You talk over each other sometimes. And it's trying to gauge your host to know when to go on. Because sometimes your host might be talking and you don't want to be rude and say, okay, shut up. We're going to go to the next segment kind of thing. Right? So you just got to, let your host talk and try to find that break. So it's kind of hard. And sometimes you talk over each other. That's even worse. I hate that. But when you're face-to-face doing an interview, that's much easier. Because you can read their face and their gestures and everything. Hey, Susie Q. Susie Q's in the house. How you doing? Caleb, so this is probably a silly question, but any tips on counting how many bubbles per second my CO2 is dosing? I just use slow motion 250 FPS on my phone, then counting the bubbles till I got 1 bubble per second. You should be able to count 1 bubble per second. 1,000. Bubble, 1,000. 2 1,000. 3 1,000. That's a bubble per second. Just count to 1,000 and see how many bubbles go through in the same time. Now, if you're going more than 2 or 3 bubbles, it's going to be hard to count. You just have to gauge it. But honestly, not many people go over 1 or 2 bubbles per second. Just the really hardcore people go really, really high. And by then, you'll figure it out yourself. The choking gestures? Why is that funny? Why is this funny? Why is this funny? Is it because of the small neck? Everyone to me has small little necks that I choke. I don't know. I don't know if 3 bubbles per second is okay for you. You have to measure the CO2 in your tank. There's 2 ways to do it. And I have a video outline that I'm about to make a video on, but I was waiting to do that during the CO2 series. But you could go with it. The thing is, you got to measure it, and the best way to do it, pretty more accurate way, let me think, is that for really good plant growth, you want 30 ppms of CO2 injected in your tank. and that is 1 point of pH rise. Okay, so if your tank is before your CO2 turns on in the morning, measure it. Do a pH test. If it's sitting at 6.0 in the morning, wait, let it inject CO2 in your tank. Wait about in the afternoon where it's the peak of the lights of your plants growing and your CO2 has been on for more than 2 hours. Do another test. And what you want to do is get that reading to say 7.0. Okay, so 1 pH above. 1 pH above is equal to about 30 ppm. That is the ultimate growth. Don't go anything above that. Anything above that, you're going to probably start killing fish. Okay, so depending on how well you're injecting CO2, or how well your system is diffusing CO2 into the tank, that's how you measure it. Okay, optimal growth for optimal CO2 for maximum growth is 30 ppm, which is measured by 1 pH rise. Okay, so 6.0 in the beginning and it goes to 7.0 is where you want to reach for. Start at 1 bubbles per second and do the measurements there. Okay, and so it's a slow process. You have to wait the next day to do another reading. Adjust the bubble counter and do the reading again. Okay, so anything between, let's say, 5 ppm to 30 ppm, you're giving your plant CO2. Hopefully you understand that. The other way to do it is get a bubble counter, not a bubble counter, a CO2 reader. If you've watched some of my videos, you see this little contraption. It's a little bulb with a little hanging opening. It kind of looks like a hook with a little ball at the end. It's a glass ball, and there's color liquid in it. Okay, what that color liquid is a solution that sits into that bulb, and all it is air in that bulb. Okay, and you put it into your tank, and then what happens is the CO2 dissolves into that air pocket in that bulb, and then your bulb will change color depending on how much CO2 is in your tank. Okay, that bulb starts with blue coloring. Okay, when there's no CO2 in your tank, and then if it starts to turn green, that means it's a good amount of CO2 in your tank. When it turns to yellow, your fish is in danger. Okay, that's basically what it does. The problem with that that gauge, that indicator, is that it's a 2-hour delay. So whatever you're seeing in there, if it turns green, that means it was that level 2 hours ago. Okay, so in this case, why it's dangerous is that if you're still pumping the CO2 and still rising, you'll know that, oh, it turned green. My tank is perfect in the levels of CO2, but that was 2 hours ago. What if right now, when you're looking at that, it's actually yellow? It's supposed to be yellow. You're not going to get that reading until 2 hours later, and hopefully by then, your fish is not dead. Okay, but it's a good indicator just to have to get a good gauge. Okay, the best way is to do it the first way I told you, to measure your pH. Okay, if it starts at 6.6 in the morning, 7.6 is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going backwards. It started at 7.0 in the beginning, and it ends up to be 6.0, then you have 30 ppm of CO2 in your tank. If you're worried about injecting that much CO2 in your tank, then try to get it to go down 0.5 ppm. pH, sorry, 0.5 pH in your tank. Sorry, I went backwards, so hopefully you guys didn't get confused on that. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any more questions. Congo 2, still unsure what goldfish to go with. Ryukin, Ranchus, and Shibukins. But I don't know. There's a lot. There is a lot. That's funny. I didn't know much about goldfish until I started watching Jenny Solid Gold videos. And she's just going through all the gold. I was like, oh, that's so cool. There's like all these different goldfishes. But I do have a favorite, which is butterfly pandas. I love the butterfly. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my Asian side. I just love the pandas. Give your best advice for crystal red shrimp keeping, please. I cannot. Sorry, I'm not a shrimp keeping guy. You need to ask Rob at Flip Aquatics. He is the master at shrimp keeping, and only because he sells them too. So I don't know if anyone else in here is good at shrimp keeping. Please help Hussein with his questions. I'm not a shrimp keeper. I just know keep the TDS low, keep the water soft and clean for most shrimp. Because I think cherry shrimps like harder water. If I'm correct on that. Hey, 54 Punchy, how you doing? Good to see you. Reminds me of Homer choking Bart. Cute. Oh, you got 2 brands of CO2 drop checkers. Okay. For the drop checkers also, yeah, you don't have to buy the solution. There's a way to make it your own solution with pH testing kit. But you have to actually make the water. Well, you can use tank water, but you won't get as accurate readings as you want. What you want to do is make DH4K water solution. You do that with baking soda, and what you do is you get tap water, neutralize it, and use that as the base, right? So you put it in the water dropper, your CO2 dropper, and put 3 drops of pH solution into that dropper, and there's your solution. That's what it really is. Those solutions that you buy that you waste money on is actually that's what it is. It's just pH solution measured in a really neutral state of water. Okay, but if you want, I'll give you the recipe how to do it. I'm gonna make a video on it later, but again, I'm waiting for the CO2 series to make that. You know, I already have the CO2 and the fertilization stuff all planned out. The lighting one is the one that's a pain in the butt. Hassan, hey, you are beautiful. Don't mind the rude, guys. I love you. Is he talking to me or is he talking to you, Clara? Maybe he's talking to Clara. Congo, for my goldfish tank, I'm going low tech and some moss balls. That works. Moss balls works well for goldfish. Hey, Redneck, how you doing, buddy? How's it going from San Antonio? I just got my mother sword in the tank and threw in some good top of leaves to see if I could get some tannins going. Nice. Oh, you got a mother sword plant? Oh, so cool. Where'd you get it from, bro? Too punchy. I'm in the middle of setting up a goldfish tank too, using trimmings from the other tank and see what they eat and what they leave alone. Most likely they'll leave alone the big plants. Amazon swords is a good choice. Big, huge cryptochlorines, Java ferns. They don't usually touch. Anything that looks really frilly and munchy, they'll eat. Nice. Use a drop checker. My 40 breeder uses 3 BPS. Cool. Caleb, hey Chung, read chat. Yes, thank you for explaining it. I have some of the solution and a spare bottle pH solution. Just been too busy to measure everything. Yeah, it is. But I make a big bottle of the solution, the DH4K. I make it like a liter of it, and that lasts forever. My well water has so much dissolved CO2, I have to let it gas out for 24 hours to get the pH down. Oh, nice. Yeah, there's some things to say about well water. Usually soft, from what I understand. There's a lot of CO2 in it. So if you don't have fish and just plant a tank, that'd be the perfect water for you. The real Whiplet. So I could turn off my lights 2 hours after I close the CO2. You can turn off your lights even with the CO2. Here's what I do. This is my schedule for my tank. How I set it up with my timers. CO2 turns on an hour before the lights do. And then I turn off the CO2 an hour before the lights turn off. Okay? The reason why is I turn on the CO2 an hour before the lights come on is so it starts saturating the tank with CO2 so the plants could start using it when the lights come on. Okay? That's just to get the optimal growth out of the plants. And then an hour before the lights go off, the CO2 go off so that the oxygen exchange in the water could happen. So that, once the lights go off, the plants stop doing its photosynthesis period, that it doesn't gas out the fish if I have any in there. If I don't have fish in there, you don't have to turn off the CO2 if you didn't even want to. But it's better to do. You're just wasting the CO2. So an hour before the lights go off, turn off your CO2. Gives a chance for the tank to kind of equalize the oxygen in the tank. Hey, Wasabi Tsunami, how you doing, buddy? Yes, sir. Okay. 54 Punchy, thank you. Nickel Cardins, Jerry Shrimps, etc. likes hard water, and Cardinius, Crystal Shrimps, etc. likes soft water. Cool. See, I did not know that. I never paid attention to shrimp. I just get my Amano shrimps because I just know they're the hardiest, and they survive through, like, the atomic bomb, the apocalypse. I mean, seriously, they live forever. They're still, in one of my tanks that I ignore, and they're like thriving in it. So I always get Amano shrimp because you can never go wrong with Amanos, and they eat algae like crazy. I never looked into cherry shrimp and stuff like that before. So I might order some cherry shrimps from Rob for the 20-gallon plant tank I have right now. So I want some color. But I don't know how well they eat algae. I have to ask them. I have to talk to them. Yeah, I saw how to make it, but it was like $2. Yeah, honestly, it's not that much, but it's still $2 when you could make a huge batch of it for $2. And it'll last you until you die. So I was like, whatever, we got it. It's about 6 years old. It should be right. Still right. Yeah, it should be. I don't think there's a shelf life on that stuff. I'm not sure. If it's not on the box, I guess so. I don't know. When I got my little set and it came with a solution, I took the solution, I threw it away. I'm not being rude to the water box. Oh, Clara, she's never rude to me. She's awesome. Wait, why were you being rude? 54 Punchy, JJ. Okay, that's my neck. I got off Honey Bell Sellers. Shipping practices, well, they're not the greatest. Yeah. Well, they have to ship it. It's a huge plant. If it's a mother plant, it's got to be huge, right? So there's got to be shipping costs involved in that, in a huge plant like that. So I don't know. Sometimes, I don't know. I have my own eBay sellers that I kind of build up and trusted, and I know they're here in Los Angeles, so the plants don't take forever to get to me. So I already have a nice little collection of eBay sellers I go to if I need to. Like Jacob's Aquarium, gorgeous plants, healthy roots, but you have to grow them when you come in. They're like just came from the suppliers. They have time to grow them out, so they usually come small, but it's good because it's hardy rooted plants. So you have to grow them. Same thing with HUO plants. We go from them. Again, you get them in a very early stage or in an immersed state. So you have to put them in tank and regrow them. Some sellers actually grow their plants and then sell it when it's grown because their operation allows for that. Great example, Dustin's fish tank. I believe at least for his crenums, he grows them out before he sells them. And which is really, really good. Is because it's already been grown in a tank. What's really bad is that you're taking it from a tank it's used to and putting it in a tank that in your tank which is not used to. So you're still probably going to get meltbacks, but at least it's already grown in. One. So it might or might not make it. It's a little harder that way. When they're younger, it's easier for them to recover, right? They're grown out, it's a little harder, but at least you get a grown out plant, and hopefully you take the chance of it not freaking out and melting back. The other problem is it's been in his tank. You don't know what's in his tanks. Okay? So that's another con about that. The other con is sometimes it's more expensive too. Especially if you're buying it over the internet. If you go to your local fish store, sometimes it's actually more cheaper. But then if you go to your local fish store, you don't know exactly where they got it from. See that there's a lot of balance and stuff to this, and trying to understand how to purchase plants online, and you get it after a while, right? A lot of people would complain to me, oh, why do you promote someone like this? When I got my plants, I would pay this much. It was a lot of plants, and all it was is just little stems. I go, you do understand that you could have asked them if you're getting immersed, if they're small, if they're big, or whatever, right? They'll tell you, right? Someone like the people I use, they will tell you. The problem is people don't ask. And the problem is not also their fault either. They don't know to ask. Okay, so, and again, another video I'm making about that, again, it's on the list of stuff to do, is that when I talk to people and they ask me, well, where I buy my plants from, I tell them where, and then they try it, or they said, oh, I bought plants from them before, I don't like it because the plants are small, they're little, stuff like that. I'm like, well, you have to understand that first you should be asking them the question of whenever you buy plants, you have to ask that question. Easier when you ask them and they have a website like Jacob's Aquarium, H2O Plants, Dustin's Fish Tanks, because they're accessible, right? Go on eBay, not as accessible, right? You're not really sure. It's eBay, first of all. Not really sure the person you pick that you don't know is actually a reputable seller, even though they got all these feedback says they're reputable or whatever. That's easy to modify. That's easy to fix. Okay? So you just got to be careful when you're on eBay. And you got to build that huge list of people that you trust. And, of course, a lot of people aren't like me. They're not always building tanks. They're not always building tanks where they're going to always buy plants. And then they're able to go and figure out who to buy from, over time. So they usually come to me and say, well, who do you suggest? And I'll tell them to go here. And they say, well, the plants are small stuff. And I go, well, you got to understand that it's the way their operation is. If you want full-grown plants, then you might have to take your chance about going on eBay and ordering from them. Okay? Or if you want to get something like crems or something, I know Dustin grows them out, order from him. I think his swords, he grows them out. It depends. And if you're not sure, ask them, right? The people that I send you to are usually reputable sellers. They will answer your questions, and they're really accessible. Jacob's Aquarium, Dustin Fish Tank, H2O Plants, they will answer your questions. They even teach you how to grow them and stuff. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And don't be afraid to do your research, which is asking the question. That's the problem with a lot of people. I'm like, well, did you ask them? Did you research? When you buy a highlight plant for a low light plant, tank that you set up, and you're complaining, yeah, it's the seller's fault because your Nymphalias didn't grow. You realize that it's a highlighted plant. It's not going to grow in your new crew, low lighted planted tank without any substrate other than the aquarium gravel you have in there. So you can't blame the seller for your own mistakes, for your own ignorance. Okay, if you're not going to do the research, don't buy the plants. Just get a plastic plant. Okay, if you're afraid to ask questions, then why are you doing this? Yeah, I don't understand that part. So again, not always his self fault either. But someone's to blame. Ask. Okay, especially when you're buying plants, because their setup always different. H2O Plants, like Justin, he moves plants out a lot. So once he gets them from his suppliers, people are ordering them and then he's shipping them right out. So he doesn't have the time to grow them out in his tank. I know there's a lot of plants he has in his operations that he does grow out. But either he's just waiting because they're more rare plants, or there's just not many plants that people order. But the popular plants he gets in, he gets them in and he pushes them out right away. From what I see, anyways. I don't know his full operation. So there's some plants you might get from him that's fully grown. It's nice and bushy. And some plants you get from him that is just it's still brand new plants. So it's small and you got to grow them out. So just ask. Honestly, just ask. Let's see here. Oh, that was a long talk about buying plants. Sorry about that, guys. Ew. Yeah, Caleb, that's ew. That sucks, because now you gotta adjust it. Well, tap 7.6, 7.8 is not bad. I mean, if it's not that high or not that low, it's easier to control, Oh, someone had a bounce. That's all right. No problem. No problem. I believe that was what was it? Mark Osborne. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. Sorry, just make sure that I have all your questions covered. Please explain properly how to use root tab. Um, you take the tab and then bury it under the plant that the target plant. Okay, and depending on the tab, just read how many you would need to put under it. So you just bury it into the substrate. That's it. It's really that easy. Bury it underneath the plant that you're targeting. For example, if you have a group of Amazon swords in the corner of the tank, then just make sure you put root tabs underneath where their roots can get to it. It's really that easy. No tricks to it. Hey Chris, nice to see you. Got a shipment of blue fancy from Flip. They're awesome. They're pretty good at cleaning algae. I don't know if they're good as Anvarista as Amanos. That's nice. I want to start a shrimp tank. I just have to figure out what kind of scrape I want with it, and then I'll get the shrimp. I mean, like real shrimp, like not real shrimp. But I'm not like Amanos, not real shrimp, but they're really harder to keep shrimp. So I gotta pick the shrimp first, I believe, and figure out how I'm going to set it up. Because I can't get rocks, that's going to change the chemistry of the water, obviously. And I want to get the substrate that's going to change the water chemistry for the type of shrimp I need to get. So I have to do my research. If you want to go with super red shrimp, I'll go with painted or blue Mary shrimp. Bloody Mary shrimp. Regular old cherry shrimps aren't as deep red. A lot of them more striped or lighter. Now, Chris. Now the thing is why I wanted red is I want it'd be nice to have deep red, super red shrimp. But I heard cherry shrimps are really easy to keep, right? What about Bloody Mary and painted shrimp? Are they easy to keep? Because that's the worry. The thing I have worried about is I don't normally worry too much about the TDS in the tank. So I'm just a little worried about that. I won't pay attention to that and kill my shrimp. Below the surface, I want to buy some N-class endlers, but I'm terrified of ordering fish through the mail. You should be okay. Everyone sends fish through mail now. There is, of course, a bigger risk that they'll die. But, I mean, there is a risk. Not a bigger risk. But there is a bigger risk. The only difference is that when you get them from the mail, temperature acclimate, do not open the bag. Do not open the bag. Just let it float in your tank for 20 minutes to an hour. Let it acclimate to the temperature. And then pour the fish into a net. And then put it directly into your tank. Don't worry about pH or anything. But that's the best way to do it if you're ordering fish from the mail. Because they've been sitting in that bag. The CO2 and everything's been building up. Once you open that bag, the temperature, the chemistry is going to change, and it's going to do a really huge spike on the water in the bag. So you don't want to do that. If you're taking from the home from your local fish store, 20 minutes, an hour, it doesn't matter, a couple hours, you should be good. But if they've been sitting days in a bag, you're gonna have to do it that way. So do not water acclimate them in the bag. Just temperature acclimate them. About lychees on stone. The stone in the back left of the tank that I'm using has some on it. I really like the characters it gives the stone, but I don't know if it's safe. Lychee? I'm not sure what that is. I don't know what lychee is. Is it a type of plants? Oh, nice. Getting a whole house. 2, 3, or 4 water stage filters and an RO unit in a few months. Cool. I need to do that. I just don't want to spend money on it. I'm so lazy. I don't know if it's just lazy or just spending money on it. I'm just lazy. I don't want to set it up. Also use a lot of flourish root tabs and like, okay, you guys must be talking among yourself. No problem. All right, Secam Flourish will give you a lot of the micronutrients, not the macronutrients. If you go into the Secam way, oh, I'm sorry, your Flourish. No, your Secam Flourish is not enough as a fertilizer. It is enough if you're going to dose your water. Okay. The problem with Secam Flourish, the substrate, is that it's not supercharged with nutrients. They don't bake it with the nutrients in it or anything like that. It will provide the micronutrients, the many but smaller need nutrients for the plants. The major nutrients are not in that substrate. Okay. But it does have ability to hold the nutrients that you dose in your water column into the substrate so that it will work for your plants. That's how those types of substrate work. So is it enough? As a fertilizer, no. But is it enough if you dose your water column with fertilizer? Does that make sense? So if you're going to use Secam Flourish, go ahead and use it, but then also be sure to dose your water column at least once a week with all-in-one fertilizer. So that all-in-one fertilizer could be absorbed by the substrate, the fluorite, so it could provide nutrients to your plants. Okay, talk to Rob. Since you're a fellow YouTuber, he will be happy to help you out. I know Rob. He will probably give you some stuff for free. Great discounts since you're a fellow YouTuber. Yeah, maybe. I'm not looking for a discount. It's nice, but I don't normally go after other YouTubers for getting a discount and stuff. Cause Rob, he's a good guy. I don't mind paying stuff for him. He's a really nice guy, so I don't like taking advantage of people. I'm one of those guys that just don't like doing stuff like that. I feel really weird taking compliments even too, so I'm just one of those guys that are not comfortable doing things like that. So, but I will talk to him about it whenever I get the chance, whenever I'm ready to do it. So, yeah, I'll pull him in here and do a collab with him or something. Do a live chat with him where I ask him. There you go. School me in the ways of shrimp. Oh, I have to do that, right? This guy, I got to pull him in here. Got to see if he's available. So I would like to do aquarium with dry start method with dwarf hairgrass. Okay, Java fern. Okay, Anubias. I think they can be. I know Anubias can be, and I think Java fern can be. But I'm curious about Anubias will survive the dry. Yeah, Anubias will survive the dry start method. It will probably even flower in the air. Okay, but the flower will go away once you flood the tank. Java fern, I'm not too quite sure of. I think it can be grown immersed. Just look it up. Just do, can Java fern be grown immersed on Google? And I'll tell you. Dwarf hairgrass works fine. Yeah, I know Anubias hairgrass will do fine grown immersed. Not too sure on the Java fern because I never actually looked that up. But I think it could be. For Anubias, make sure you spray water that's fertilized. It'll help it grow a little bit more. So you get some of that mist of fertilized, mist onto its rhizome. Yeah, I've seen people use they use Anubias in terrariums. Anubias are really hardy plants. A lot of people use them in everything. Have you ever used lava rock and filter me? Yes. In fact, the all the filters I have downstairs are lava rock. Seriously, lava rock. I have a small bag of ceramics media, but it's a small bag, and the only reason I'm using it because it came with the filter. Okay, and that's the only reason I use it. But everything else is all lava rocks. I bought one 7-pound bound of lava rocks for $7 on Amazon. It's like that big, and I've used it on all my filters. It was more than enough for all my filters. Haven't needed to change it out or anything. Just wash them here and then once in a while, and it's been working like a charm. Okay, nothing wrong with it. Never had any anaerobic problems or anything that people are claiming online or what have you. Oh, see, this is the problem with a lot of formula stuff. It's digging through all those misinformation that people are just guessing about and stuff. And I don't know if they're doing it on purpose. They're being know-it-alls. They want to sound smart. or they want to just try to be involved in the conversation. They make stuff up, or they're just assuming, and can't blame it, because sometimes we have to assume. Some of them we're like, well, I'm gonna see if it works, but before I see if it works, I'm gonna say like it's fact, right? Please do your research before. If you have an idea, it's great. See if it works first, and then start claiming that works or whatever. But people, they say things, and I don't even know. Sometimes I don't even know if it's true or not. And that's what scares me when I'm going into when I'm gonna go into the coral stuff for my coral reef. I'm basically gonna have to start over. I didn't get hardcore enough into it 13 years ago. I just set one up, and that's when I got out of the hobby. So I didn't really dig into buying corals and stuff and how to keep them. So I'm kind of dreading that, because I have to kind of start all over again, go through all the knickknacks and wax and stuff like that. Good thing is, there's a lot of people out there on YouTube that's knowledgeable, and I could probably hit them up. But how do I know they're right too? How do I know I'm right? How do you guys know I'm right? You watch my videos, and you're like, oh yeah, he makes sense, but how do you know I'm right? And that's the problem. I think half of the other time why there's so much information in this hobby is that there's a lot of stuff that we don't know and we're all guessing on. And it's not us as in the hobbyists, but the scientists as well. And there's still a lot of things we don't know. There's a lot of things we do know, but there's a lot of things that the hobbyists that we do know don't know, because it's just too boring to learn. So hopefully I can connect that problem there. So yes, I use rock as filter media, and I have no clue how it all led to that last post there. I'll post close-up pics on Facebook. Awesome. Thanks for the answers. I didn't know about unopened bag thing. Yeah, that's important. If you're getting, if the fish has been shipped, it's been in a couple days in the bag. When you get them, do not open the bag and then start acclimating like you usually do with the water. Just do the temperature acclimation, leave the bag closed, and once you open it, quickly just put them in the net. Dump the water, put them in the net, and then put them in your tank. Because they have a better chance of surviving that way than having that huge spike in that little bag of water. How many days would I have to wait for my new tank to cycle if I did ceramic rings from previous cycle tank? I don't know. It depends on how well the cycled media you have in there is. How big the tank is as well. If you take just small amount of media, you put it in a filter that's filtering 100 gallons, it's going to take a while for it to build, right? So you might cut off a couple of days from doing that. So I can't answer that question. That's just keep testing your tank. Okay. And you know what? Here's a weird thing. Go out and buy a master's test kit. It's logical for me, only because I do this, and probably logical to a lot of you guys that are into the aquarium hobby that's been doing this. But I do get questions about that. They're like, oh, how do I test my tank to know if it's cycled or not? I mean, what do you mean? How do you test it? Use it, with the testing kit. Well, I don't have a testing kit. Well, that's one of the things. First thing you should buy is a testing kit. Why don't you have a testing kit? Well, it costs $20, or $28 or whatever. All right, testing kit. You're gonna need that. You're gonna keep testing your water. You're gonna need it. I don't understand why people think you do without a testing kit. Get strips if you have to. At least get some kind of something that's going to indicate whether or not your tank cycled or not, whether or not there's a problem with your tank. Okay, that's the most horrible thing to do. That's something you don't skip out on. Okay, so if you're new to aquariums, you decide that you don't need a testing kit, you're wrong. You need a testing kit. Okay, and that's one thing I do have to push is get a testing kit. You're not going to know if something's wrong without testing your water. Hey, looking for plants for a 5-gallon nano? If it's a low-tech plant in nano, go with the Anubias Petites for a 5-gallon tank. Anubias Petite Nanas, okay? Not Anubias Petite, but Anubias Petite Nanas. Okay, smaller leaves, really small leaves. They'll stay small, perfect for a 5-gallon nano. Anything else? You can just trim it down. Let's see. Compacted swords might be too big. Might be good for it. It's your centerpiece. Sword compactors. But it's gonna outgrow it. That tank. If it goes out of control. Dwarf hairgrass for carpeting. For nano. What else? Moss. Rocks and moss. Good selection there. Driftwood, of course. But you're asking about plants. Yeah, Java. Every time I think of a small nano tank, something like 5 gallon. I always come to the Anubius Nano Petite because it's perfect scale for a 5 gallon tank. You could and then you can get a bigger, either fern or Java fern or Anubius, a regular Anubius, to get that large look, that feel that there's a large plant in there that won't outgrow your tank, your 5 gallon tank. You can put it in the back somewhere, so you have like this nice, let me see, nice plant right here in the corner in the back, and a small Nano Petite right here. Maybe some driftwood going here with moss on the driftwood. Maybe put some Java ferns at the base of the driftwood, so you have a nice little bush here. Dwarf hairgrass. That's the carpet. You can put them in patches areas, or just fill the whole tank with dwarf hairgrass. That'd be a good medium lighted tank, low lighted tank. That will work too. The dwarf hairgrass should survive it, I think, in a 5 gallon nano. What else? That's what I suggest for low lighted. Would you consider Ember Tetra shrimp safe? I think so. I don't see why. Someone else have to answer that one. Ember Tetras are small. They're not going to bother shrimp. I don't think the shrimp's going to bother them. But not sure. And I also need ideas for mid-light plants for my 35 gallon. What are you doing with it? Give me an idea what you want to do with it. Do you have driftwood? Do you have rocks? What are you trying to make it look like? Mid-light plants. Any low-light plants and any of the low-light plant list videos I've done will work great for mid-light plants. If you need carpet, Monte Carlo style repins. A really gorgeous filled-in S repins carpets, Stargrain repins is gorgeous. It is really, really nice to see. Okay, but for mid-light tank, if you want carpeting is Monte Carlo would be great for mid-lights. And like I said, Stargrain repins. If you want forests, you stick with lots of swords, lots of Java ferns. Thick leaf stem plants like Bacapa, creeping jennies. Vows are always your best bet to get that jungle look. Contortion vows are great. It's one of my favorites, but regular jungle vow will look excellent in a 35 gallon mid-light tank. And the vows will grow pretty quick in the tank. I don't know if you're pumping in CO2. Don't know what kind of substrate you're using. Lots of Anubius. Boost. Boost is the latest big thing, I think, in our hobby right now. And Boost looks really good. So get some low-lighted or mid-lighted Boost and try those out. Yeah, lots of complicated stuff online. Sometimes it doesn't have to be that complicated, but sometimes it does. So, glad it helped. Compare multiple sources and filter out the similarities. Yeah, pretty much. A lot of it, that's what I do. And a lot of it is also logic. Right? Common sense. Because sometimes a lot of people says one thing, but it doesn't make any sense. So sometimes you have to cut that out. Because you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would people say this? And a lot of that has to do with, one person said it. And since you follow or like that person, I'm going to say it. And then I want to say it, and I want to say it. And then it just gets cluttered in the mess too. So that's another thing. Sometimes it doesn't always work, comparing the multiple sources and filter out the similarities. But it's a good way to start. Test kits aren't actually available in my country, nor do I have option to purchase online. See, that's the thing too. Then how do you people in how come you don't have the option to purchase online? And how is it not you don't have it in your country? Which country are you in again? I don't know if we talked on Facebook. Someone else said the same thing. Adrian Castillo, how you doing, buddy? Yo, yo, yo. Would Stingray clip-on be good enough for dwarf hairgrass, or should I go with dwarf sag? What kind of tank again, Cameron? I like the Stingray, it's nice. Sometimes I get lost, so I'm not sure if Cameron mentioned how big of a... Oh, the 5-gallon nano. Yeah, it will... That should work for dwarf hairgrass. It should. Of the Stingray. I mean, if you get the Planet Plus clip-on, that'll for sure work. Okay, but the Stingray should work too. Because dwarf hairgrass, first of all, isn't that high demanding. It does really good in high light. It does really good in mid light. It does okay in low light. Okay? But you're also dealing with a clip-on, Stingray clip-on on a 5-gallon tank, which is... should be about 8 inches high. Is that right? 8? 12 inches maybe? So you should get more than... No, not 12 inches. That'd be too much. Probably 8 inches. 6 to 8 inches. So yeah, that should be more than enough light reaching to the dwarf hairgrass. Quick question. How do I raise my pH? You could use, I believe, equilibrium. That will raise your pH. There are other things out there that could raise your pH. You could get... naturally, you could just get rock that does that. A lot of rock that releases, I believe, calcium or has that ability, can raise your pH. Because that's the thing. I know cereal rocks. People are saying that it will raise your pH. It'll raise the hardness of the water. So they stopped using it for Iwagumi style tanks. So if you want to do that, just research your rocks and find some rocks that will raise your pH. I think equilibrium raises your pH. Yeah, it should, because people use that to raise the pH of and the hardness of RO water. So look up equilibrium. I'm not sure exactly why you want to raise your pH, so don't know the details on that. Any tips on keeping snails? Trying to get ram's horn to reproduce. What are the ideal condition? I've got eggs for the calcium too. Again, another good question to ask. I think Turtle Girl. I don't know much about snails. I know I keep getting them in my tank, and I know that assassin snails are really cool because they're pretty and they kill other snails. And I like their name because they're assassin snails. I like having a bunch of assassins in my tank, killing things, because I'm that morbid. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, I don't know much about snails other than they're snails. I can't tell you how to get them to reproduce, because the ones I get are the your garden variety snails, and they reproduce. You don't have to tell them or try to get them to reproduce. They just do. I don't know how to reproduce or breed ram's horn snails. Hey, Martin's Tank Talk. How you doing, buddy? I'm from Bangladesh, and Amazon, eBay, and other national sellers don't ship their products here, so I'm kind of stranded in a difficult place. Bangladesh, really? Don't you guys have fish stores there? I mean, you figure Bangladesh is one of the places where fish keeping is a popular hobby, right? I'm not sure. I've never been to Bangladesh, never lived in Bangladesh. Can you get someone, a friend that you know outside of Bangladesh to ship you something? Crushed coral, thank you, will raise pH. Thank you, Martin. Yeah, everyone's saying crushed coral. There you go, crushed coral. Trying to raise my pH due to it dropping from normal 7.2 to... Why is it... That's a big drop. Why is it dropping that fast? Something in the tank already causing it to drop? Good, oh, good. Glad you're doing good. Good to hear, Martin. Yeah, I think that's one of the major boons about planet tanks. I like soft water. Oh, why? It makes my plants go better. For me, it does. A lot of people seem to want to go harder, but and I think I'm just used to the soft water because I like discus, and I'm always shooting for that soft water environment to someday keep those discus I want. Yeah, I know CO2, but is he adding CO2 to make it drop that way? Because I know I could drop my CO2 pretty, that quick too with CO2. But is he adding CO2? So I'm trying to figure out what's dropping his pH. Yo, Philly Man Pete, what's up? Philly Man in the house? Where's Bradley Cooper? He was in here. I don't know where he's at now. I think he left. Yeah, but yeah. I need to know, Keith. Why is it dropping? Is this something in your tank that's dropping? What are you adding in your tank, or you add in your tank that's dropping it? Because we gotta figure out how to balance it back out, right? But yeah, if you're adding CO2, of course it's gonna drop that. Yeah, I know you could always again add equilibrium. So, but then again, once you turn off your CO2, your pH is gonna spike back up again. And if you're already adding equilibrium, do you want it that high? Sire, are ghost shrimps really safe? In my past experience, my ghost shrimps killed and ate 4 of my neon tetras in my 20-gallon tank, and I plan to add shrimp on my newly planted tank for cleaning algae. Do ghost shrimps really kill fish? I've never seen that before. I don't even know that. I know my shrimp will eat my fish if they die. And that's kind of how I get rid of fish sometimes if they die. I'm just like, oh, the shrimp will eat it. Because my amanos do. Yeah, some woods will lower pH too. Most woods will. Not sure. Decently planted, no CO2. Only thing different is I added some Eco Complete and some... Eco Complete wouldn't lower your pH either. And some new plant. Okay, so when you... So the plant... So the water coming out of your tap is 7.2. You put it in a tank and it becomes 6.1. Are you sure Eco Complete will reduce pH by that much, by a point? Because I know it will reduce pH, but by a point of pH? Hey, no problems, are anything to help. Yeah, I think they're only. I think your shrimps is only eating your tetras because they died. Because I know my shrimps will eat fish that have died and they're just floating in the substrate. They look at it and say, "Oh, food," and they go eat it. But I've never seen shrimp kill fish. I've seen shrimp chase fish. But again, I'm not a huge shrimp guy, so can't tell you. That's cool. I have to see. I have Echo Complete. I didn't know that was part of my pH. I thought it was just the, when I have Echo Complete in my tanks, I thought it was just mostly the CO2. Now you're going to make me go test it. So, yeah. Oh, you've heard of some occasion where people actually get whisker shrimp instead of ghost shrimp and they actually are aggressive. Okay. How can he tell the difference between ghost shrimp and whisker shrimp? Oh, okay. Okay, so it normally runs a stable 7.2, but it recently dropped to 6.1 for no apparent reason at all. Whisker shrimps get bigger and tends to be less transparent. All right, any other better indicators? Like, is there a sign on their back that says, I'm a whisker shrimp? Because that's a little hard. They get bigger and tend to be less transparent, but some shrimps do get bigger, right? Some ghost shrimps, I mean. How much bigger? I mean, if he had all whisker shrimps in his tank, he wouldn't be able to tell which one gets bigger, right? And which ones are less transparent. So is there other indicators that you know it's whisker shrimps? So riddle me that, Cameron. See what you got. Also, their eyes are attached to their body instead of hanging out. Oh, that's a good one. That's where pH usually rises with time, not lowers, right? Unless CO2 would. They research a bunch because my water is like acidic. It's like acid. Yeah, that's why I'm wondering why did the sudden change in his pH. If it normally runs stable at 7.2 and then suddenly it's at 6.1, is it a bad reading? Did you take more than 1 or 2 readings just to make sure one wasn't false positive? It could be. Oh, you don't have those shrimps now? So you can't go see and take a look at their eyes? Oh, anyways. Well, when I start this? At 12? And we're at 1:30 already, guys? Wow, that's really awesome to have you guys sitting in here and just hang out. Glad I could answer some of your questions. We'll be overstocking to have 10 embers and 10 CR shrimps in a 155... Oh. What is a American unit? I don't know what a American unit is. 55 gallons, though? 10 embers and 10 CR... No. You'd have a lot... Wait, crystal red shrimp. Yeah. You have a lot of shrimps per gallon. And I don't know what was, guys, what was the per gallon rule for shrimp? Was it 20, 30, 100? And 10 ember tetras you're talking about should be no problem for a 55-gallon tank. I'm just not quite sure what American unit is. Well, maybe... So it shouldn't be dropping to 6.1. What's 1 per liter? For the guys, if you ever come back and watch this, chat's up on the screen. Also, you could, I believe, you could follow along on the actual chat itself because they do the playback now. Okay, so it is 55 gallons. That's more than enough for just 10 embers and 10 CR shrimps. You have tons of shrimps per gallon. Yeah, I don't know what it's by liter. I just know people. Well, I'm American, so I'm here in America. People do it by gallons, not like you people over across the pond where everything is by liter, by meters, by kilometers. Excuse me, but I must go to the store. It's 500 kilometers from my door. See, we're more punchy here in America. We talk about miles, inches, yeah, gallons. It's much more straightforward. It's the language, the theme. Don't ask. That's so stupid. Yeah. So, any other questions, guys? If we're going, I have to do this research and do this video soon. I did this live chat just to procrastinate. I don't want to do it. I've just been researching this video for so long. It's driving me nuts. Someone actually replied me to Reddit. I'm trying to figure out Reddit because they say, you know, you get a lot of followers from Reddit. I'm trying not to break the rules, so I posted one of my videos in one of the subreddits. Someone just emailed me. He's like, "Holy crap! Your dry start method video was one of the first Planet Tank videos I ever saw. Love your channel." That's too funny. It's pretty cool. Oh, you are in the USA. Try working stuff out in feet and inches. It's Greek to me. Oh, I'm sorry, Martin. It's Greek to us when we try to work it out in your system too. Everything in meters and millimeters or centimeters. At least I'm getting the meters part because I kind of like figure, all right, 3 feet is a meter, roughly a meter. So I kind of do that. I times all the meters. That's how I figure, like 5 meters times 3. That's 15 feet kind of thing. That's how I do it. But when it comes to centimeters, I'm not too sure. You know, it's weird. You know, one of the war games I played, Warhammer 40K or Warhammer, is actually based in the UK. Funny enough, though, in our wargaming scene, everything's done in inches. But when I talk to my British friends that are into wargaming, they still throw stuff at me in the measurements that they're used to with centimeters, kilometers, and they're like I ask them, like, oh, you know, when I get to the London airport, how far is it from, you know, this place? You know, how far is it from this studio here? They're like, oh, you know, 6,000 kilometers or something. I'm like, what is that in feet? What is that in miles? Can you please like talk English kind of thing? It just drives me nuts sometimes because I can't do the conversion in my head well enough. Even though measuring in centimeters seems more impressive than it. See, the Brits, they're just snobby in their measurements. That's what I'm saying. It's not maybe not snobby. It's more elitist. Because us Americans think, you know, the British are very, you know, upper class. You know, like, hello, I'm British. Have some tea with me. Haha, I'm rich. You know, kind of thing, right? So, you know, the way we look at it is like, instead of inches, centimeters, you know. I don't talk in inches, I talk in centimeters, thank you very much, kind of thing. So it just seems very bourgeoisie to us. I just find it funny. Yeah, I know. The rest of the world uses that metric system, yeah. Can AutoCADs do good in a pitch about 8.2? Ooh, I don't know. I know my tanks never get that high. Can anyone tell them? Do autos do good in the pitch about 8.2? Yeah. Only us American use that stupid imperial metric whatever system. For both metrics and imperial. Yeah. I don't do it. I figured you guys are smart enough. Look, if you're smart enough to understand centimeters, meters, kilometers, and all that stuff, you're smart enough to figure out how to convert inches and miles and stuff like that. Now, if I was British and I was doing videos in Britain, I probably would go your way and convert everything for the stupid Americans. By the way, I don't really mean that, but you know what I mean. Please do a video on aquascating and aquarium in the feet. Whoa, did I just miss something there? Sorry. What'd you do? Did you ask the question and they went to go see if I did any videos on aquascaping? And then you found the aquascaping videos? I have 4-inch 8.5 pH, but I trip acclimate them. Oh, there you go. Does that work, Michael? Are your autos doing good? You know, guys, you tell me this. Now we're talking about autos. Michael Allen's talking about acclimating them to 8.5. Even though Martin says that autos are 6.5, do well in 6.5 to 7 pH. And one of the big things about fish is that they're really resilient. A lot of fish are, anyways, not all. What do you guys think about that? If we say autos do well in 6.5 to 7 pH, but we have someone like Michael Allen, and this is nothing to dig on him. You have someone like Michael Allen acclimating them to an 8.5 environment. Is that cruel to the fish? What do you guys think? Is it bad for the fish? Is it a bad thing to do? Or is it just the natural part of the fish state where they can be really resilient and live through a lot of different changes? What do you guys think about that? Michael Allen, they are fat and energetic. That's how we think, I think, in America. Is he healthy? Well, he's fat and energetic, so I guess he's okay. Maybe we should eat more macaroni and cheese and pasta, because that's what he eats, and he's fat and he's energetic. I like that. The metric system is made in Sweden, Germany, though. Ostdeutschland, wieder group. My German sucks. Wie grad und heißt William. I only know Ich liebe dich because one of my ex-girlfriends was Austrian. So he was trying to teach me German, which I failed miserably at. I'm not a language guy. I can't pick up language. Like, she could speak 5-6 different languages. I don't know how she could do that. But she could pick up languages really, really fast. I was teaching her Chinese. She had a hard time with it, but she actually got a lot of it. Steady is better than fighting the pH from what I read. I see, keeping it very consistent. So you get them up there, just keep it in a consistent environment. Should keep them okay. Martin Tang said, that is true. Most species can handle from 6 to 8.5 without problems. Hey, I like my pasta. Some Tanganyika cichlids can handle the pH up to 9.4. That's crazy. But then again, that's their environment though, right? They're African cichlids. They are from those lakes where it's high in pH already. So assuming that, it's like they can handle this zone at a plus and minus of this, right? I don't know if we could do that with fish. Because for us humans, I guess there is. It's just that we won't like it, right? We could be in 90-degree heat. We'll just go to the beach. But when it becomes 150, we're not going to really like it. Most likely because we're going to burn and die a horrible death. But that's totally a different story. Steady is better. Yeah, so you guys agree with the steady, the consistency of the pH rather than have it consistently swing all the time. So being that we can acclimate really resilient fish outside of the recommended pH zones, as long as we keep that pH a constant and steady environment, it should be okay. Okay. It's pretty normal to speak 4 languages here in Denmark. You're just lucky to have English as your mother. No, you know what? I don't think we're lucky. The only reason why we're lucky to have English as our mother is because English is kind of out there. It's like the global language. But if history changed and German was like the most global language out there, then that would have been a different story. Then you would be lucky to have German as your main language, right? Your mother tongue, for instance, to say, right? So I don't know if we're lucky. A lot of Americans can speak English, but that's it. But you, here in Denmark, you're saying 4 languages? That's incredible. Or I only speak 2 because I grew up with Chinese, and I grew up learning in America, right? That's the only reason why I know. If I try to learn Spanish, forget it. Only way I learned Spanish was all the people cussing at me in school. All right, so I know Spanish. I do know Spanish. I just know Spanish that I can't talk here. Otherwise, I'll lose monetization. The only reason why I know those words in German is because my girlfriend taught me and try to get into my head how to say I love you in German. And she tried to teach me other stuff, but didn't work out. I'm not a language guy. But it seems like a lot of you guys, especially outside of the U.S., especially in Europe, are really good at languages. I don't know why. It just seems like it to me as an American. It just seems like it because everyone I talk to is obviously doesn't know just English, but they also know the native language. But then it's like, oh yeah, but I also know German and I also know French, and stuff like that. And I think that also has a lot to do that you guys are so close together. You know, all our states are closer together, but they're all English, right? They're different forms of English, right? Because one state might speak English, but it's like Californian or Southern, Bostonian, whatever. It's still English. It just sounds different. The intonations, the accents and stuff. And of course, you guys from across the pond can't tell that we have accents. Especially people like they talk to me like, "Oh, I love your accent." I'm like, "What accent?" Like the English accent. I'm like, "I don't have an English accent. I just speak English." Right? Because, we're so used to it. It's an accent to you guys across the pond. And then to us here in America, there's actually different types of accent in English. Right? We know when someone's coming from the South because they talk like this. And they're kind of missing words. They're kind of meshing together. But, hey, doesn't matter because I'm Southern. And they have that. And then you go to Boston. I can't do Boston's. I don't even know what Boston's actually look like. You just know it. You just hear it when you know they have it when you hear it. And I don't know how to do it. And the New York, Brooklyn accent. Now, you see that all the time in movies. Right? So it's like you English people. You British guys. You guys have different, British accents up there. As I understand it. I didn't know that until I watched a YouTube video about a guy doing all these impressions of British accents. I'm like, I did not know you guys had all those accents. From Liverpool and all those, you guys have different accents just like us from different areas of Britain, of England. That's so cool. It is so cool that you know Farsi and Persian. Danish, German. See, those are such cool languages. And I don't know if it's because I grew up my language, like American, whatever. It's American. There's nothing special about American. Sometimes I even rag on American, the English language in America, because we get it wrong. And then, unfortunately, since we grew up with the American language, and then British says that we're all wrong, because, or we, like, I would spell some words like the British do, which is like armor, ARMOR here in America, but you British spell it ARMOUR, and I tend to spell it like that, because when I was growing up, I saw how cool the spelling was because it was different, so I just started spelling it like that, and I just got used to it, right? So it's just funny that Americans like you can't spell, you spelled it wrong. I go, no, you spelled it wrong, because if I remember correctly, the British was here first before we became Americans. So, in that way, the British is right, the Americans are wrong. But, anyways. But I just think that's really cool. For me, it's really cool that you speak Farsi and Persian. I wish I could. I wish I could speak Danish. I wish I could speak German. Because I like especially how the Danish sounds. German's alright. It's a little rough for me, from what I hear. Spanish, I think, is really awesome. It's just sexy. Like, every time I hear someone speak Spanish and she's really pretty, it's like kind of a turn on in a way. It's kind of like, whoa, it makes her really, really pretty. Especially when she starts going off and does the whole Spanish thing. Oh, it's like, okay. All right, there you go. But see, that's the thing. Since being American, growing up in America, all these other languages are cool to me, So, how do you have 11 official languages? You actually consider the different accents official? I speak Ebonics. I like how most people over the side of the pond think we sound like Victorian chimney sweeps. What? What does that mean? Hey, Cameron says, don't you? Yeah, don't you, though? I mean, It's funny because I have a lot of British. Yeah, I got a lot of friends in in England, because a lot of my friends from the wargaming side, wargaming is really huge in England, and a lot of them are from there. And half of my my consortium of the wargaming YouTubers, about half, a little less than half, are from England, and I get a lot of I talk to them a lot, so it's really cool. So I could see the differences and learning about the differences and stuff. I think the funniest thing in the world is looking at your map for the underground in London, which is like a huge, like mind-blowing event, right? Because I'm sitting here trying to decipher that map. I thought it was really cool with all the little color lines and everything. Shine your shoes, Governor. From Jean-Luc Picard to Ringo Starr. Exactly. Yeah, color versus color. Litter versus litter. Yeah, exactly. I tend to spell it like you guys do in Britain, because I thought it was cool when I was growing up, so I just taught myself to spell it that way. St. Matthew's. Well, we do. American English is considered low class, keeping up with the Kardashians, watching teenage girls things. See, this is very interesting. Now, we have people from all over the world in this chat, and I love this. And I love, Hassan says, American English is considered low class, keeping up with the Kardashians, watching teenage girls thing. And, a lot of people might get offended by it. I don't. Because it's important to understand, how the rest of the world sees us, or sees each other. And I think that's how that's how we're going to come together, is understanding why we see each other that way, and understanding that if that's, correct or incorrect. Right? When you say, well, you might see us that way, but there's a lot of other things about America that's really great. I'm not talking about waving flags and stuff like that. I'm talking about there's lots of great things in America that you should see. And we do have some class in America, I would say. But it's just funny. So, it's just one of the things that I think is open dialogue that really, really helps. Yeah. Mary Poppins, y'all. Exactly. Martin Katie, you're from the Republic of Ireland. Okay, nice. So you're going to get pissed off at me if I say that Ireland is part of Britain? I'm going to get razzed for this, I think. In Pennsylvania, we speak hillbilly. I don't think Pennsylvania is that bad, is it? See, I don't pay much attention to the East. I go to New York, I go to Atlanta, once to Florida. But I go there for certain things. I don't pay attention with what's outside of the state itself. So I try not to. So when I passed by Pennsylvania, I was in the airport. I didn't go outside. So I didn't really converse with the natives to really figure out if they speak hillbilly or not. So Martin, 11 official languages of South Africa. African, English, Bella, Northern Sotho. I don't know if that counts. You can't say Northern Sotho and then Sotho. Well, I guess it does count. Because everyone's like, say, where do you live? I say, I live in North Hollywood. They're like, oh, you live in Hollywood. All the stars. I go, North Hollywood. Not Hollywood. No, okay, so yeah. There's a difference, I gotta say. Siswati, Sangha, Swana, Svenda, Sosa, and Zulu. Oh, I can barely even pronounce the name of the language. I don't think I will ever be able to speak it. Fewer than 2% of the South Americans speak the... Okay, that's cool. There's language other than the official one. New Orleans. Northern Ireland is, but not us. That's a whole other story. Yeah. I get it. I was messing around with you. I do want to visit Ireland. I do want to visit Scotland. Oh, Scotland. I don't know why I have this really weird fascination with Scotland. Maybe because I just see myself just hanging out the hills, the Scottish hills, the Highlands, all that grass, overlooking a castle or something. Okay, I watched Braveheart way too much when I was younger, but you know what I mean. The northern, Ireland stuff I do want to go to too. It would be really nice to see Ireland. And of course, I want to visit England. I haven't gone there yet. Tons of friends there, so if I ever hit England, I'm pretty sure I can find a place to stay. I do want to hit Europe. Europe would be fun to hit. Visit some of my friends there. But yeah. Wow, this has gone way long and off the topic of aquariums, which is fine. Just bantering. You guys are helping me procrastinate. You guys will never get that video, by the way, because I'm procrastinating with you guys. Attorney versus barrister and solicitor. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Alright, guys. I've been on for 2 hours. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm going ahead and call it quits. Love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. And, yeah. Guys, we'll talk to you guys later. Wow, still 25 people in the chat. That's really amazing to hear me just blather along about stuff that don't really matter, but matters to some. Yeah. Guys, I will talk to you guys later. Love you guys. Stay away with your tanks. And I had lots of fun. Bye. Bye. Every time I say goodbye, I never have the screen up to close the stream. And I can't find the stupid stream. Where'd it go? Guys, I can't shut this off. Oh no, I'm stuck, guys. Where's the stream? Oh, there it is. Bye.